I came here a few months ago and to educate about my financial future, and now I became my own money manager. The name of our company is World Financial Group, commonly known as WFG, a Trans-American company, and our head office is located in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and our Canadian head office is actually located at 5000 Yonge Street, Toronto. So we are right now on a national campaign for financial literacy to educate 1 million families by 2020. So some of the information you're going to hear today may or may not be familiar to you, but all we ask is to have an open mind. If at the end you see something that sparks or ignites your interest, please get back to the person who invited you, and he or she will answer your questions. Is it a good way to start?
Yes.
Yes.
So to share more about our campaign, we are privileged tonight to have two great instructors. First off, it would be Cassandra, who's a teacher, and she'll be teaching us about the educational planning program. Also, we have another instructor, Kevin, who's a CPA, who will be talking about more about the taxation. Both of them has helped many people understand how money works, but most importantly, both of them has guided many more families to achieve financial security and success. Both of them are also very well known for their good heart and goes out of their way to help everyone. So without further ado, let's give a big hand for Cassandra.
Usually when I teach, I never use a microphone, but there's so many people today. Hello, can you hear me? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah? Better? Okay, so like Wilson said, my name is Cassandra. I actually teach English to international students. That's what I do during the day. But I joined WFG about 3 or 4 months ago, and I discovered this program. It's called the HIFE program, Heartland Institute of Financial Education, and I fell in love with it right away. I am the first Canadian in my family. My parents are from Vietnam, and I was the very first out of the whole family to go through the high school and university, and it was a really, really tough experience. My parents couldn't help me too much and guide me in the right way when I was going through the process. A lot of my experience comes from trial and error, right? So there's a lot of problems when you go into high school and then into university. One of those things is class sizes, right? Is anyone in high school here? High school? High school? You're in high school? You're in high school. Or has anyone gone through university or post-secondary school here in Canada? Okay, so if you have been through high school, right, the classes are small. Probably 20 to 30 people, right? When you go to university, it could be 50, 100, 200. One of my biggest class at U of T was about 700 people. 700 students in one class, right? So that's one issue, right? Another issue with high school and university is that a lot of students graduate from high school with really high averages, right? It's easy for them to get 80s and 90s in high school, but when they move and transition into university, their GPA dramatically decreases, right? So for example, my case, I was an honor roll student in high school. I had 85% average, and you know, when you get 85 or on honor roll, your name goes into the newspaper. I'm not sure if you know. Goes into the newspaper. When I went to university in my first year, my GPA was only 2.0. That's not even close to 85% in high school. So it's something what we call a grade shock, okay? A lot of students, grades decline, they become discouraged, they don't know what to do. They go from the top to the bottom really quick, right? That's another issue, okay? Another problem with university and high school is that a lot of students don't know how to apply to scholarships. They don't know what's out there for them, right? Actually, the scholarship process should start in high school, not when you're already in university, okay? There's a lot of scholarships out there, not only for those who have high averages or high GPA, there are those out there to help marginalized people, right? Distinct backgrounds, okay? Not only for those who are very strong athletically and in grades, okay? There might be something that you can qualify for, right? When you're applying to scholarships, okay? And how to apply to those scholarships is also another big problem, right? Which you will learn from this program. And then finally, the financial problem. High school is free. We pay through our taxes, right? We pay through our taxes, but high school is free. And it's already organized for us. It's structured, right? It's structured for us to go, you know, you have period 1, English, period 2, gym, period 3, etc., etc., etc. When you go to university, you are self-managed, right? You decide when you go to class, right? No one is there to babysit you. You have to do it yourself, right? And that is a really big problem because you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Did you pick the right major? Is it suited for your characteristic, your personality, right? Will you have a job after, right? What is the unemployment rate or employment rate for your career path, right? All of these issues and questions that you have or are going to have or will have for your future can be helped with this program, right? Can be helped with this program. So here, HIFE is actually a non-profit profit organization, okay? And the mission is to promote financial literacy across North America, okay? And our mission begins with this program, right? So from here, what we provide is for each student, there is a coach, okay, that contacts the student twice a month to make sure that they're on the right track to where they need to be, right? So, for example, like I said, my parents are from Vietnam. They really couldn't help me with that process. I actually never applied to any scholarships when I was in high school until the end of my university career. That's when I started to apply, right? And I could have saved myself thousands and thousands of dollars, right? But, you know, I took OSAP instead. How many of you took OSAP or has OSAP, right? I'm still paying back OSAP now, right? Okay? So what we do, the first step, the right preparation. Okay, like I said, it's really important to know who you are, right? What kind of person are you? What kind of personality or characteristics do you have? So HIFE has this program where it does an analysis on the student. Okay, parents, you can do the analysis on yourself too to see if you're in the right, you know, career path. Right? A lot of people change their career path as well. Right? On average, an adult changes their careers 3 or 4 times. Right? That is possibly because we don't know what we want. Right? So here we do an assessment. Not only that, this program provides essay reviews. Right? A lot of students have an issue writing essays. They hate writing, they hate English, right? This program prepares the student to be ready to write those essays, right? In my experience in high school, I only used to write 2 to 3 page essays. When I got to university, it was 10 pages, right? How do you go from 3 pages to 10 pages? Another thing is financial funding options. Like I said, it helps you become aware of scholarships available for you, right? How to apply to those scholarships, right? A big problem with application is that we don't know how to fill it out, right? Is it NA? Do we leave it not applicable? Do we leave it blank? Do we have to put a check mark, right? How about when the time is sent, okay? Does it have to be in the office, right, by a certain date, or does it need to be mailed out by a certain date? A lot of these are unknown because we've never done it before, right? And if you miss one detail, they reject your application, right? So you need to know these kind of things, right? And what type of topics do you write for your scholarship application? Sometimes it's 100 words to 1,000 words, right? This program creates a portfolio for the students, right? So when you start, you create more and more, and then it's just easier to apply to scholarships. And then finally, customize monthly recommendations. As you're growing as a student, right, your personality might change, your wants are changing, maybe you want to do something else, right? You become more aware of the world. So this is the right preparation. Next is the right college, right? So for example, when I was in high school, I actually decided to take an extra year. I graduated in 4 years, but decided to stay an extra year because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I told my mom, I don't know what to do, right? I didn't apply to anywhere in my 4th year of high school, and I said, is it okay? Can I take an extra year, or should I work? I don't know what to do. And she said, just stay in school, right? Stay in school and understand what I need to do, right? What we say is a victory lap. I'm not sure if you guys know this term, a victory lap, right? So within that extra year, I understood that I'm really good at English and history, so I decided to go into this field, right? And a lot of us English and history students, we think that we're going to go into teaching, right? And as you know, teaching has a surplus of teachers. Baby boomers are holding on to those teaching jobs. It's so easy, just sit at a desk all day, right? Don't do anything. So those baby boomers are holding on to those positions, and they're not letting go, right? They're not letting go. So I had no idea, right? I was, 17, 18 years old. I had no idea about this situation. So I'm an English student, right? Knowing what university is important, right? Knowing what university is important. I would never apply to MIT, an engineering school, right? Actually, I had no idea what university to apply to. I thought U of T is so beautiful. Looks like, Harry Potter. So I decided to apply to U of T because not only of its prestigious name, and it's beautiful. That's why I chose U of T. My second option was Ryerson because I want to stay in Toronto. And my third option was York because they were giving me a scholarship to just apply. I'm like, okay, maybe if I don't get into U of T, I don't get into Ryerson, I'll get into York with a scholarship, right? So those were my 3 choices, right? I really had no idea what I was doing. So college is really important. We don't only focus in Canada, we also offer university and college applications to the US as well, right? And as you know, within the top 10 universities in the world, USA has most of the schools, right? USA has most of those high-ranking schools, right? You have Harvard, you have MIT, right? You have Berkeley, right? So if you want your child to go to American school, we can help you too, right? The finance-wise, there are some ways that we can help you figure out how to bring your student to America and be financially stable, okay? Cost comparison, right? What is the cost comparison from going to a Canadian school, an American school, or in Ontario to Alberta, Saskatchewan, right? How about to Newfoundland, right? So we also do that as well, okay? College qualifications. Recently, the GPA, grade point average, right, is going higher and higher. Like students in high school need a higher average to get into university programs. For me, when I started at U of T, it was 70% to get into my program, but it's slowly going up and up, right? It's going up and up. And then admissions, right? How to do the admission process. What kind of information do you need, right? What qualifications do you need? And then from college, is choosing the right career. We work with Cooter Navigator. Cooter Navigator is a website that tells you what are the employment and unemployment rate of careers, right? So, and what kind of careers are there going to be in the future, right? Right now, there's too many teachers, right? Right now, there's too many teachers. Now, if I put in teachers onto Cooter, you would see that the employment rate is stagnant, right? Actually, the school boards are not hiring any teachers anymore. at this moment, right? It's not possible to find a job, right? So they're looking to other alternatives, like working in retail or working in a restaurant, right? Because they have no source of income. Okay, job preparation. Throughout this whole entire process, HIFE also supplies and helps the students look for volunteer opportunities, right? And that's one of the biggest problems. A lot of university students don't have experience. They leave or they finish university, they have no experience. How can you find a job when you apply for a job that says 1 to 2 years experience needed? How can these university students get a job? Impossible, right? It's impossible. Okay. Internships, right? So this is another experience that you can get. Okay. Awesome. And then if the student wants, they want to go to a master's program, right? A doctorate or medicine, right? There's post-grad preparation as well. Finding the right school, right? Finding the right postgraduate school for the student to go to, right? That specializes in their major, right? Okay. Pretty much what I said, these are all of the other things that HIFE also provides, right? The other things that HIFE also provides, right? So like I said, the assessment, resume guidance, right? That's awesome. Student portfolio, right? Scholarship coaching, college planning, student loans, grants, right? How to do all of these things. I wanted to show you right now, this is becoming a huge problem in Canada, okay? University tuition, I don't know how to turn this on. This button? So I've been doing a lot of research now that I've been doing the college and university planning, right? Going online to read articles and scholarly readings. Okay, so here, this is one from Global News. Oops. Can you guys see that? Right? University tuition fees in Canada rise 40% in a decade. Right? That's a huge jump. Okay, a huge, huge jump. Right. University tuition fees keep rising relentlessly across most of the country. Statistics Canada, so this is when they take your information, okay, announced today, and this was last week, September 7, 2016, right? This is recently. On average, undergraduates pay 40% more in tuition than they did 10 years ago. And that's going to go up and up, right? It's going to continue going up. Now, what do students do to fight the rising tuition? Mm-hmm. Here is an article from CBC, and it suggests that millennials should move in with their parents, right? And it's one of the smart ways that you can fight the rising tuition costs, right? Being an adult, it's kind of embarrassing to still live at home with your parents. You know, you have a relationship, you want to have a family, you want to get married, right? When can I move out then to have my own family, to start my own family, right? Tuition on average for a Canadian student is anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000, right? So I don't know when I'll be able to pay that off and move out of my mom's house, but it seems like it's going to take a really long time, right? Okay.
Mama struggle.
Here's another one from McLean. Okay, and it says your grades will drop, like I was saying, right? A lot of students experience what we say grade shock. Okay, grade shock. And here, I just wanted to share this with you. Okay, again, using data from Statistics Canada, Youth in Transition Survey. So actually, you can go online to the Government of Canada website and read this survey yourself. It's a lot of statistics to understand, but it reveals some really shocking information, right? That nearly half of all students surveyed saw their marks decline by one letter. So that's, for example, I was an 85 student. That's about A minus, A minus, A to A minus jump all the way down to actually more than one grade, right? Significantly more than one grade, okay? And about 23% saw their grade 2 letters or more. That's me, I'm the 23%, right? Only 2.5% of students saw their grades improve, right? 2.5, that's barely nothing. And about a quarter maintain averages with their high school marks, right? So you can see there's a big struggle, right? Not only the struggle, but identity crisis, right? Identity crisis. Who are you when you come from high school? You're this brilliant person and you enter university and you meet other brilliant person, right? Other brilliant people. Who are you, right? You question that, okay? Recent trends suggest that the challenges of grade shock are only going to become more widespread, right? That's because student average entering grades in the B or B plus range are slowly disappearing, right? Because the average requirement to go to university is getting higher and higher, right? You need 80s and 90s to get into, Waterloo, right? McMaster's. They have very high grade requirements, okay? And finally, another big issue, and my biggest point here today, is that other students are not so prepared, right? The skill that students are lacking is the ability to adjust, right? Going from high school to university. That adjustment is so difficult to deal with, right? That they've never failed before and they've never had a low grade before, right? They just don't know how to cope with it. So how can we cope with it? The HiFi program can guide the student from high school, starting grade 9, all the way onwards, to help them complete and successfully go through the education process, right? Successfully go through the education process, right? That means that the more guidance they have, right, the less they will change majors, right? They will change majors, the less money they waste, and a higher possibility that they'll leave the university or college with a job, a paying job. So they don't have to live at home like me, right? So, sorry, one more thing. Finally, you can see here. This is from the Toronto Star recently. It's September, right? So September, everyone is back to school, right? University students are going back to school. Here's this handsome guy. Here it says, this is a magazine that you can find on the subway, okay? I found it on the subway. Educational consultants, expert help to pick the right school. It's in the newspaper right now because there is a high demand for educational guidance, right? In high school, I was an average student. 85 is average, right? I was not 99%, and I wasn't failing either. So my guidance counselor, my school didn't care too much about me because I was doing very good, right? So what happens to us students? We're left behind, right? We're left behind. With this, HiFi's slogan is no students left behind, right? If you're starting university, if you're in high school, right? We're not leaving you behind. You can still come to our program and use a lot of our resources to help you have a greater success, right? In university and in education, okay? Here, just very quickly, okay? So here, this girl, her parents are lawyers, right? Just to roughly summarize for you, her parents are lawyers, and they decided to hire a educational consultant because for themselves, they went through the university process. They actually changed their majors and spent on their first year about $8,000, okay, and regretted it, right? There's a big regret, okay? That's why choosing this program and making sure that the student goes through the program properly and successfully can save you thousands of dollars and ensuring that the future of your children will be solid, right? So that they are sure about themselves and sure about the path that they choose. Right? Not questioning who they are and what they will be, right? And power? Is it power? to become a college planning consultant, right? Here's some information, right? So if you are a TA, right, just a training associate like myself, right, for each student that enrolls, you get $556, right? And let's say if you're interested in doing it part-time, like myself, for 4 students, right, you can make $2,200 roughly every month, right? And if you're associate, MD, or SMD, right, you can make this much. I don't want to say all the numbers, but this is what you can be making if you're interested in joining us here at WFG to become an educational consultant planning. If you're a parent and you're interested in enrolling your student or your child, please talk to any of the educational consultants here. Right, myself, who's the educational consultant? Can I see? Right, so you can talk to any of us and we can definitely help you. Okay, that sums up my presentation here. If you want to talk afterwards, you can definitely talk to me or any of the other consultants here. We're going to welcome one of my really, really great business partners, right? He is a CMA. He's really young, but very knowledgeable. I've never seen someone work so hard in the last few months, right? He has a plan, he has a goal, and he's going to educate with me 1 million families by 2020, right? Today's topic will be on tax. I don't want to say too much because it's a surprise, right? I really don't know, but we'll learn together, right? Just a round of applause for Kevin.